Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and thank you all for being here. And I think to each of us, when you look at DJI, their numbers are of tremendous concern for us. That's why some of us have had provisions that remove the ability of our military to use DJI drones, and also for local law enforcement from them using DJI drones. Any of these drones that are manufactured by adversaries or in these adversarial situations are a safety risk to us because of the transmission of that data, and then who holds that data and where they hold that data. So as we continue to push back on utilization of foreign manufactured drones, it gives openings for the domestic industry to increase their presence. And we hope, Mr. Wilson, in answer to, or in addition to what you were saying, we hope that this helps to motivate domestic manufacturing of these drones. We do know there are some supply chain issues around that. And as we look at tariffs and trade, we are seeking to address some of those issues. I represent Tennessee. We have a lot of outdoor events in Tennessee. We've got Titans football that people enjoy. We've got the Bonnaroo Music Festival and so many festivals around our state. I've recently done the Fish Fry and the Strawberry Fest and a couple of others in our beautiful state. But one of the things people are concerned about is when they do hear that drone flying overhead, because they don't know who put it there and why they put it there, and if this is an infringement on their privacy, or if they are being spied upon, or and the first person they turn to is going to be local law enforcement. And I agree with some of you and disagree with Professor Donahue. I think it's an imperative that we give local and state law enforcement the ability to participate in this policing and the mitigation efforts that need to take place. I would like, and Sergeant Dooley, let me come to you on this. Let's break this down and look at what kind of partner the FBI and the FAA have been for state and local law enforcement. As you look at these mitigation efforts, what kind of partner are they when it comes to these counter-UAS efforts, and where could that relationship be strengthened?
Number one, the relationship, the stakeholder relationship we have with both of those entities is pretty strong. The FAA is super supportive. Unfortunately, they can't grant those permissions to do those things. Even some of the data that some of our federal partners at times collect, they're worried about like how it was collected, et cetera. But it can be strengthened by, again, just starting the process of establishing one of those federal entities as the lead to help guide people forward. And then from there, I think it'll just blossom and organically grow into something much stronger where there is regulation. Now we have a pathway forward. Now people can start learning how to do this. And again, I'm a strong believer that you shouldn't just understand the technology itself. You should have a firm grasp on everything that goes into it, including FAA rules and regulations, et cetera, so that when you have one of those events in Tennessee, if someone had a legal right to be there, fair and equitable access to that airspace, they're up, they have the proper permissions or whatever the case is, and they're just documenting or taking photos or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't know that that's something benign versus something that's bad.
So basically a pre-clearance
Yes.
to be in that space.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. I want to move on to something. Mr. Dixon had talked about this earlier, and Sergeant Dooley, I'll stay with you. We've had 2 instances in Tennessee where a criminal attempted to use an armed drone to murder someone. And in one case, there was somebody that was planning an attack on the Knoxville FBI field office, and in another, a man attempted to attack an electronic substation with homemade drones. So we know that this takes place, and Mr. Dixon talked about it with law enforcement and prisons and jails. So it just leads me to believe that there has got to be some reforms on how we look at the regulations around the drones. And I know I am over time. Madam Chairman, if I may take a moment, and Sergeant Dooley, let me have you talk a bit how we do these reforms before there is a successful attack that is carried out from how would we go about those reforms so we're in front of any type of attack that takes place?
Again, we have 3 handsome public safety professionals. We have our senators here, decision makers, and we have some legal experts. I mean, there's a pathway forward. It can be quick. It can be done correctly. But again, I'm a firm believer that we have to establish someone who's the lead. And then from there, I think that we can move forward to get it done pretty quickly. And then, of course, all of our states represented here, Florida and Texas, we would obviously step up to whatever level we would need to make it happen in a timely fashion.
Secretary Dixon, anything to add on that?
I agree. The frustrating thing is the technology exists. That's not our problem. It's the authority we need. So that's good news and bad news. The technology is there to do everything we need to do. I would distinguish ourselves a little independently in the corrections industry because we are a fixed site and we have a different population. So I don't think there's any reason we can't work together to move ahead on authorities we need to combat this immediately.
So the federal, state, and local partnership. We need to work through that.
Yes, the partnership is great. We need the congressional. We need language authority from the federal level to allow us to utilize the tools.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn.